Hey, this is Phil from Race City Retro, and today is the day all this 70-year-old suspension gets axed. It's a day I dread, though. Messing with coil springs is dangerous. Anybody that tells you elsewise is nuts, because these springs are compressed. If you've never done this job before, get somebody to help you. Get somebody to help you that's done it, because you could kill yourself, you could maim yourself, you could hurt yourself really, really bad. It's no joke. It's probably one of the one jobs that I hate. I love doing everything else on these cars. Can't stand doing coil springs. You got to make sure you have the right tools. Make sure you have a person that's done it before with you if you've never done it before, because like I said, you do this wrong, it's going to really end up badly. And I know all the TV shows, they pull the jack in and beep, beep, beep. Nope, wrong way to do it. The way I do Tri-5 coil spring removals is I use the tool that's exactly like GM used to use, and I use the procedure that GM tells you to use when you look in the service manual from 1955. So this is the way GM is telling you to do it. So I'm listening to GM. They designed this car. They know how to get it apart safely. Those springs are under so much pressure that I've seen people use jacks. They jack it up and they don't realize the top shoots up too. And by the top shooting up, I've seen cars get kicked off the jack, get kicked off the jack stands, drop to the ground. It's bad. Like I said, I dread doing this job, but it's got to get done. If you want to get all this outdated stuff off the car and replace it with coilovers, a lot safer, adjustable, and tubular lower control arms, you got to get this old junk out of the way. So let me show you what I'm going to do today on my 55 Chevy. Let's get rolling. Okay, here's the big mistake guys make when they do this. They'll do the jack thing and they knock the top A-frame off and drop it down to try and get the jack out, but this spring is still under pressure because it's still in the chassis. So they'll get a pry bar and start prying, and spring comes flying out, and everybody acts surprised like they didn't know that was going to happen. The way GM tells you to do this in the General Motors service guide for this car is with this type tool. Now, I bought this from Eckler's years ago. It's threaded rod with a base. It's got two slits that bolts go through into the shock holes. You have to pull the shock out to install this tool. It comes through the top where the shock would be, and it's got this bushing. And as you're tightening it down, it's compressing everything, okay? So once that spring is compressed, and you don't compress the spring till the links are touching each other, you just, you compress it where you see the lower control arm, everything's sandwiching together. The way GM wants you to do it then is they want you to knock the top off like you would normally, but they want you to take the bolts out on the front of the lower control arm and then slowly undo this so the whole bottom part comes down as one unit. It's coming out of the hole. It's not, see how low this thing, you could bring it all the way down so that the spring is completely out of the pocket. And I've used this thing a few times and it works really, really good, but it's still a dangerous job. Don't use those side clamps because you can't see enough of the spring, so you're only compressing part of the spring. You're still leaving all that stored energy in the other half. It has to be a spring compressor that goes through the center of the spring on these cars to get them off safely. I mean, yeah, if you have an oxyacetylene setup, you can cut these springs into pieces and relieve the pressure and get them out that way too, but I don't have an oxyacetylene setup. I don't like that too. A lot of times you get guys, they'll make a cut and they'll cut into the chassis or do something wacky. I'd rather just take them off the way they were put on. And like I said, this is a great tool. Eckler's used to sell it. I don't know if they still do. See how it's got the pivot on it too, because you want this rod, threaded rod, straight through the middle. I have seen some videos on YouTube where they make these tools. They show you how to make them. But this one I bought from Eckler's, the Chevy guys, and it works pretty good. So let's get this thing installed, and I'm gonna start doing the nasty. Okay, I've got my spring compressor installed. It's running through the center of the spring. The bottom part is bolted to the lower control arm. That's why I love this tool. It works real good on these cars. It's made specifically for 55, 56, 57 Chevys. And I've got the spring tightened down to the point where it's getting hard to turn that nut, so I have a good compression on the spring. Next step is going to be to take the cotter pin out of here, loosen that nut halfway. Do it by hand, don't do it with an impact because you may zip the whole nut off. And if you don't have enough compression on the spring and that ball joint's loose, you're going to find out in a second. It's going to be a real bad scenario because that thing's going to pop off. All right, so I'm going to take that half off, knock it loose with my ball joint thing. Then I'm going to take my front 2 and 2 on the A-frames and lower it as a whole unit. All right, I got to shut the camera off for this part because this is where it gets ugly, and hopefully not getting ugly. And when it's all done, I'll show you what it looks like once it comes out. There she is. All right, like I said, disconnected the top, disconnected the front of the control arm. This is the way GM wants you to do it. Loosened up my tool, and it lowers it all down to the ground in one piece, nice and safely. No jacks involved, no springs flying out. Now all I got to do is pull this out from under the car, take my tool out, and do the other side. Woo, lucky me, I get to do this all again. Now, before you go tossing all this stuff in the dumpster, because, oh, I got new disc brakes, I'm putting big brakes. Just remember, there's parts on this you're going to need, even with new upper and lower control arms. You're going to need your spindles, unless you're putting drop spindles or something in it. And those are your steering arms. You're going to need that, too, if you want your car to steer. So don't go disconnecting it or tossing this in the scrap heap till you pull everything off it that you need. So I still have to disassemble this, take my steering arm, take my spindle off, because I'm using these. I'm not putting drop spindles in it. I figure I can adjust it with the new coilovers. But look at the height on that spring. You see how long that is? How much pressure that thing is holding? When you see it in the car and it's all compressed, it's probably half that height. That shows you why this is so damn dangerous. Like I said, do not attempt this yourself. If you've never done it before, it's not a job for a first-timer. You're going to want to get a seasoned mechanic to help you out and just look over your shoulder, or somebody to do it for you. Best job like this, take it to your local shop, front-end shop, or whatever, let them do it. I dread doing it, but I got to get everything stripped down on this thing so I could start putting all the new stuff back in. All right, let me do the other side, get the bottom off, and then we'll take the uppers off next. I'll show you how those come off. Okay, I got the other side done. The lowers are off, and now I'm setting up to take these uppers off. The uppers are pretty simple. The lowest and the coil spring are the worst part of this whole job. When it comes to the uppers, there's 2 bolts. That's it, right there, that hold those in. We got to zip out. And when you lift the control arm, you'll see, let's get this light over here. Say there's one, there's the other one down the other end. We're going to zip those with the gun and take these uppers off. All right, let me set my camera up and we'll give it a go. All right, I lifted up the control arm, the upper, to expose these. I got a wrench on there. Whoop, almost. Oh, come on. No, thank you, Milwaukee. Let me jump around the back. Back bolt. Here we go. All right, let's give it a wiggle and jiggle. And with this, you're going to see it's where all your alignment shims are going to start falling out, because naturally when we put all the new stuff on, it's going to need a complete alignment. I'll get it close, but then I'll take it to the alignment shop where they'll do their thing. Okay, So there's your upper. Here's your bolts. I'm gonna bang those out because we have new hardware. And this is the time to inspect all of this. What you're looking for: rust holes, rot holes, broken welds, missing rivets. All this has been covered for so many years. Check these towers, make sure everything looks good, make sure nothing's broke, cracked. Now would be the time to fix it. All right, let me zip that other side off. All right, driver side upper, off. Passenger side upper, off. Steering box, gone. Center link, tie rod ends, inners, outers, idler arm, pitman arm, all that good stuff is gone. And everything looks good on the frame. You're just gonna wanna, these things have like this horrible pocket. You're gonna wanna, let me light that up. See that junk down there? What is that? Do we have any archaeologists watching? Clean that pocket out real good because it's just a dirt collector and you don't want anything laying in there that's gonna rot your frame. But everything looks good. The upper mounts look real good. And before anything new goes back on this, the engine's gonna come out and I'm gonna strip this front part of the frame. I'm gonna do this like in 2 halves and wire wheel it all down, paint it all up nice. This way when I put my new suspension on, it doesn't look like a diamond in an ashtray. Everything will look good. And then later on, I'll put the car on my wheel cribs and do the rest of the frame and the floorboards. I'll wire wheel all that down. Maybe over the winter, once everything's back together, I'll work on that project. But engine's gonna come out now so we can clean and detail this firewall. Heater box is gonna come out. All the electrical is gonna get cut out of this car. And then once I wire wheel a wire wheel the firewall down, then we could start painting all this stuff up and all the brake lines too. See, it's so nice. If you look at these brake lines, running all the brand new ones, I'll strip all this out of here, all these brake lines, and then we're gonna do our clean it, paint everything up. And then once everything's all painted, a little satin black, then the engine will go back in. But I want to paint the engine too. I just want to detail it. We're going to wire brush that down, put a little fresh Chevy orange on it, and drop the motor back in. Everything looks good inside the motor. While it's out, I want to have a look at the clutch, throw out bearing, all that good stuff. Now's the time. It's so easy to pull this engine out right now, so now's the time to take advantage of that. Looks good though. It's about a month now I've been doing these videos, and we've done a lot in a month if you think back. And like I said, this car's not going to take years. It's going to be built in months. So be sure to subscribe, man. Tell your friends about us. Check out our website, racecityretro.com. Can't thank you guys enough, man. The orders have been insane. You're buying up shirts like crazy and our other products. Thank you so much, man. I so appreciate you supporting us. It's just so cool to get all the cool emails, the pictures, all that good stuff. Thanks for joining me today. I look forward to doing the next video with you guys. And take care. Go out and work on something.